Hey guys, and welcome to Black Hollywood Live Sports Weekly, your weekly source for news and events in sports. Today is a very NBA-heavy show, talking about how Dwight Howard got hazed by Sir Charles on the set of NBA on TNT. And we're also talking about how a pivotal Western Conference matchup has major NBA implications. And finally, talking about how a real MVP does it back to back. All that and more up next on Sports Weekly.
You are tuned into Black Hollywood Live Sports Weekly.
I love this song.
Go ahead, sing it, girl. Hey.
Control.
Ooh, look at the light.
Hold on.
Controller.
Club BHL.
Yeah.
It's going down.
You know, we're a little higher now, too.
Yeah, we are.
We on cloud
Okay.
nine.
And when I get aggressive, tell
on, Josh.
you. Come
This
on.
was a mocha
Go slow, go
Bumblebee
faster.
special right here.
Sports Weekly. Thank you for watching Sports Weekly, guys. Jamming to Drake's Controller off of Views. Thursday night, every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. This is the only place to be. The best sports show around ever in your entire life. You're welcome. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram at Erica Renee D.
I am Dre Dean. You know what it is. You can find me on the Instagram or the Twitter at I am Andre, and that Snapchat RBDEAN30. What's up?
And I'm Rheina LA. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Periscope at Rheina_LA.
What's up, everybody? Music ain't what it used to be, but I'll
Hater.
survive.
Such a hater.
But you can find me on social media, Joshua Johnson at JJ the Talented. What is with you guys in this album?
Drake. You can
Views
always.
is great.
Views is awesome.
Drake, if you're watching, you did your thing.
That's right. And y'all do your thing
What
and
do you
follow
like?
all things Black Hollywood Live on BlackHollywoodLive.com. Follow Black Hollywood Live on Twitter at BHL Online, and follow us on Instagram at The Sports Weekly.
Somebody's hot right now.
Who's hot?
Phone. Can you hear?
Oh,
Am I crazy?
someone's phone's up. Mine's on airplane mode.
Okay.
Oh, mine.
We have
Maybe
to
I'm just,
work out the technical. Oh, okay. The voice of God says, chill out.
Relax.
Chill out, y'all.
Alright.
We're doing a lot of NBA there. I mean, NBA is reigning supreme right now. I mean, it seems like there's nothing else to talk about, even though there's baseball, even though Stanley Cup playoffs are going on, and we're going to kind of just discriminate against all the other sports and just do NBA.
Yes,
Open it
because
up.
it's
We
the best
open it up.
sport in the world. Right, Erica?
Next to college football, and next to NFL, and then, NBA.
Well, anyways, so Steph Curry, back-to-back MVP, and also made history because he was the first unanimous vote as the MVP. So literally, there was nobody next to him. I think second place was actually Kawhi Leonard, and then it was LeBron. So, yes, so Steph Curry, back-to-back MVP. Congrats to him. Guys, do you think Steph deserved this? Or if not, then who do you pick who's your pick for MVP of the NBA? Wow, I can't talk today. Sorry.
I think Steph deserved it. Oh, wait.
No, go ahead.
I
Do your
think,
thing.
I think he deserved it. I am a little shocked that it was unanimous, though. I really am. I'm a little shocked that it was unanimous. I don't understand how LeBron nor Kawhi at least got one first place vote. I do recognize. Now, here's my theory. My theory is that the media, the writers, the media really want this to be a fairy tale season for the Warriors. They gave Kerr the Coach of the Year. They broke the Bulls record. You know, Steph got the back-to-back back-to-back MVP, and it was unanimous. I feel like it just makes for a better story if all those things fall in line once they win the championship, and that's why I feel like all the writers and voters conspired to make sure that it was unanimous, because nothing about their season can be flawed. And so I can't believe that not one writer from Cleveland, not one media person from Cleveland wanted to give LeBron the first. He's a coach, for God's sake. Really, he's a coach, and he's the best player in the world. Don't care what anybody says. So Steph deserved it, but Kawhi and LeBron got robbed of some first place votes.
So the incentive the media had was a good story?
Huh?
The incentive the media had to give all first place votes to Curry was a good story?
Yeah, I think it goes. I think the whole story, the culmination of everything that's happened with the Warriors. Like, you know, they have the perfect family. You know, even when he came back from injury and saved the day when Sean Livingston got ejected. They have a 73-9 record that no one ever thought that the Bulls record will be beat. Their coach got the coach of the year, even though he only coached less than half of the season. Like, everything just is falling in line so perfectly, and for him to win it unanimously makes the story even more fantastical.
Well, I mean, Steph was the main player. He's the superstar player on the best team in the league right now. He averaged 30, up from 24 last season. I mean, that in itself could be, along with some other stats, could be an argument for in the running for most improved player even. But the guy, I mean, he brought so much to the game this season in terms of excitability, added viewers. He changed the culture, I think, of basketball.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, kids now, like when I was growing up, kids were all about, learn how to handle the ball.
In the 60s.
Break the guy off.
60s and 70s.
Break your defender off with a nice crossover and take it to the hoop. But now kids, they're working on the shooting and working on the 3-point, shot from, the schoolyard to AAU teams in high school and college. Everybody's about the 3-point ball now. So, I mean, when you factor all that in, along with everybody loves the underdog, last season, I think, absolutely also set up this season, because if he didn't win the MVP last season, he probably wouldn't have been unanimous this season. But because he broke the record that he set last season by so much, I mean, when you factor all those things considered, I mean, why not give him a unanimous pick?
I agree with you. I don't think it's really anybody else suitable for the title this season. You know what I mean? I think he did, along with everything that you said, the same reasons that you said, you thought he was that way. I feel the opposite. I feel like that is why he's unanimous, because of the things that he's dealing with on the court and off the court, new wife, kids, and all that kind of stuff. But you still maintain a high level of play on the basketball field. And these writers and these people who vote are regular, everyday people, so they understand that aspect of life as well as the sports aspect. So I think everything he's doing is amazing right now, man. And I hope that they win, because he deserves it, and I think he's going to make sure he wins.
I mean, they probably will,
absolutely.
but to infer like the whole, 100, 200 sports writers who vote on this award.
Or 131.
131.
Like,
130 was
inspire
or 150.
for the sake of what, a couple lines in the story. I mean, I don't think so. The guy went out and he did what he did. He deserved it. So and for the fact that we didn't, like, when we saw Steph Curry last year, we were amazed, but he blew last year out of the water, and so we're even more amazed.
Again, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Obviously, anyone who watches basketball knows he deserves it, but I find it, again, very difficult. It's kind of like when college football coaches are ranking their teams, like in the coaches poll. Like, you're going to probably give a little bit more reverence to the team that you coach, even when they don't deserve it, because it's the team that you coach. So I find it very hard to believe that no writers, no media people from that Cleveland area thought, okay, maybe Steph does deserve it. He's probably going to win anyway. It's kind of like people who go vote for Kasich before he dropped out. Even though he's not going to win, you still vote because that's where your heart is. You can still vote for LeBron even though he's not going to win. And I just feel that he's still the best player in the world and he deserves some first place votes. And I think that even though it sounds like a conspiracy theory, I think that the media and the NBA likes a good story. And it's a good story for everything to fall in line as well as this unanimous vote.
It's definitely a conspiracy theory, but Steph has written a good story this season.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you think he's been the most consistent player out of like the whole NBA since the season started. And I mean, guys, Monday night, 17 points in overtime. Like, he comes hard in the clutch, like when his team needs him. Like, it just speaks a lot about his character and how he's very hardworking. And I think he definitely deserves it. Yes, unanimous vote. I think that was correct. I don't think anybody got robbed. Kawhi had a great season. LeBron had a great season, but Steph
seasons,
deserved this. But yes, so Tracy McGrady actually had some comments about Steph winning the MVP.
Tracy McShady.
Yes, he said that the NBA is watered down now, meaning players like MJ and Shaq, they played against higher quality players. So I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about his statements? Low-key, I think he was kind of dissing the players that are playing right now. Like, yes, MJ, Shaq, those players were amazing, but this era we have LeBron, we have Kawhi, we have Russell, Kevin Durant. Is he dissing just Steph, or is he dissing all of the players in the NBA?
I'd just say that the game has definitely changed because a lot of teams are playing without a big. I think that's one of the biggest things. We're used to a guard, a shooting guard, a center, a forward, a power forward, and and those five guys, and it's starting to turn. Even in the All-Star game, you're looking at how crazy is that for no big to be in there? I mean, so you can't say that the game isn't evolving, that it isn't that it isn't changing, because because it absolutely is. But I don't think that Tracy McGrady is just not relevant right now, and I think that's one of those things that, you know, y'all know I'm Houston all day, but I think that was just one of those comments that you just make and throw out there because you want some type of attention or something. I don't think he really meant anything by it.
I mean, that's to be expected of guys who once played and now they're not. I mean, they always want to, at least at some point, say that their era was better than the era now because it gives them kind of some credence to what they had to go through. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, sometime down the line, we'll probably see players like LeBron in the future saying the same exact thing. So it's not far-fetched for Tracy to say this. We've heard this from, you know, Oscar Robertson and, you know, Cedric Ceballos, I think. Was
even kind of alluded to at the beginning. At the beginning of the season, he talked about how the Warriors shooting lights out basically has changed what the tradition of basketball is. And I'm not saying that I agree with Tracy McGrady, but I remember watching basketball like in the early 90s or even, you know, or like the early 2000s. And like with like Ben Wallace and those guys, and like they would fight in the stands, they would fight the people who came to see the games, they would fight each other on the court. And you don't see that anymore. And so to Tracy McGrady's point, I feel like it is a little bit watered down because you get like a little bump right here and it's like, no, you tee it up, you get out. You know, everyone's like trying to stop the fight. So I think he has a great point, and I do think he's like an old man sitting on the porch in his rocking chair, a little salty, but he still has a good point. Again, I'm gonna parlay it to football. Like quarterbacks are so protected now. They weren't protected like that 10, 15 years ago. NFL has become somewhat of a watered down sport than what we watched growing up, and I think the NBA has too.
I think in that sense, it has been watered down because there's so many rules and like touching fouls or whatever. That is different now. But I think he kind of dissed the players and the the talent in the NBA today.
Absolutely.
LeBron is an aggressive player. He drives to the hole. He gets to the basket. KD, yes, he shoots, but he's also a different type of guard. Like you didn't see that back in the day. And then Russ, I mean, him being so damn athletic and just crazy. Getting to the basket, like, these players are good. It's just a different type of basketball than it was back in the day, and that's just how it is.
I mean, if you want to see a fight, though, like if you want to see a fight, I mean, watch hockey, football, maybe. But I mean, the refs have to protect somewhat to an extent the assets of the game because I mean, if these guys get in fights, they're going to get hurt, they're going to get injured, they're going to be off the floor, and there goes the viewership, there goes the money. I'm not saying that the refs are going to fix the game like that, but at the same token, like call the foul if it's a foul. But back then, players would have gotten in many fights, for sure. I agree with that.
And, you know, I'm not saying that I want to see a fight every single game, but I can remember it being more exciting, and there were higher stakes. Like, there were certain people that you didn't mess with. Like, the way Blake Griffin, like, gets bodied versus the way Matt Barnes. Like, Matt Barnes, you can tell he's ready to fight somebody. Like, he's ready to fight somebody. And Blake, you know, kind of, like, cowers to people, but had this been 15 years ago, I believe Blake would have thrown some punches by now. The game is different. But I do want to say about Tracy, I think his comments were more directed directly towards Steph. Because, I mean, you can't dismiss the LeBrons or the crazy Russell Westbrooks. Like, they do drive to the hole. They are big bodies. I think his comments were directly related to how Steph is kind of little, kind of small,
and unlikely MVP.
You know, I hate to bring like color complex, but light skinned dude, light eyes. You know, I mean,
it's a little bit of all of that.
It's true. Like,
you know, it's a little bit
like now, if he was, you know, Chris Paul, like chocolate, you know, shooting guy, I don't think we would hate on him the way we do. But he's like the pretty, he's a light skinned boy, light eyes, a pretty boy.
Is Steph good for the NBA?
I mean, I think he's good for the NBA. I think he has great crossover appeal. His brand is good for crossing over mainstream. I think it's great. But I think that I understand where Tracy's coming from.
I mean, look at some of the guys though. Tracy won the all NBA team. He was on that team, first team for 2002, 2003. So some of the guys from that who were in the running for most valuable player during the first time he won that award were guys like Tim Duncan, Jason Kidd, Shaquille O'Neal,
Shaq,
Tracy McGrady, of course, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton, Chris Webber, Dirk Nowitzki, Allen Iverson, Ben Wallace, just the top 10. So when you compare the top 10 of that to maybe the top 10 players in the NBA today, wouldn't you say that some of those names are some really, all those names are really big names compared to today? I mean, it got a lot more like star power.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I agree.
Just the players now are just more diverse. I mean, you're looking at LeBron James, who's almost 7 foot tall. I mean, he's not that tall, but he's almost 7 foot tall.
He's big.
But look how he plays. I mean, you're looking at a guy with a crossover. He can pretty much do whatever he wants to do with the basketball.
Plays like a guard.
He's a tight end.
Right. He can do. He's so athletic. So I think that's the thing. I mean, look at Russell. It's so many guys. We can go down the line. That these guys are really just all around athletes, and they didn't have. It wasn't as many of those back in the day. So you got to have those to keep up, to play against those, to play with those. I really don't think it was as many back in the day.
Do you guys think that sometimes I feel like Steph is getting a lot of like the negative
hate?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting a lot of hate. Okay, yes, he's light skinned. Yes, he has pretty eyes. Yes, he might have the perfect family.
Take that away, though. The guy
but
can flat out ball,
he
though.
can hoop. He's doing his thing.
Right.
And I think that he's worked so hard. And just because of the outside factors, I think that's why a lot of these, like Tracy McGrady is saying that. You don't see another, you haven't had a Steph Curry like this in ever.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, yeah, he has the perfect family, he's this, and that, but he can hoop. He's worked so hard, and he can shoot the ball. Like, I don't know, I just feel like he's getting a lot of hate. Like, he's getting
How many
hated on.
championships does Tracy McGrady have, by the way?
He didn't win any with the
MVP
Rockets?
awards?
I mean, now hold on. Now, I'm going to.
He got the opportunity.
Now you cannot don't hate on T-Mac.
He didn't have an opportunity to do it?
No, T-Mac was nice. I just
He was
feel
very nice,
like-
but he's not playing nice now.
Well, and I'm going to jump on your topic. Maybe you can segue if you want. But Charles said it best. He was like inside the NBA on TNT. Like we aren't here to praise you. We're here to talk about your mistakes. So yeah, we can say, oh, Tracy McGrady, what did you do? Well, he's had his heyday, and now he's an analyst, and now his job is to criticize. So I'm not hating on him for being critical because that's what he does. That's what we do every Thursday night at 7. We criticize. I've never been on anybody's NBA court, so I'm not even going to try to come at him like that. He has a right to his opinion, whether or not you agree or disagree. That's whatever. But
we're here to discuss his opinion, and in my opinion, his opinion was wrong.
Okay.
In my opinion, his
agree with you,
opinion was
Josh.
right. Is his opinion right or
Yeah,
wrong?
I agree with Tracy McGrady.
Oh, so I'm the only one that's saying.
What do you say?
I'm saying his opinion was right.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's
right.
right.
I think
right.
it's wrong.
Yeah, I think it's right.
And you said it's.
Too.
I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong in the fact that, like Eric was saying, he's directing it directly at Steph. But
He is.
at the end of that little clip, I mean, he came back and said, well, he had he was a hell of a player, he had a hell of a season, kind of thing, like they're trying to soften the blow. But it was really directed at Steph.
It was.
And that part of his opinion was wrong. Now, still, I have to say that the players back then, there's a lot more star power then, yes. But who's to say by the end of these guys' career, that, the current players' careers, that we're not going to look back and say, hey, comparatively, those guys are better, like the Westbrooks and the Currys and the Leonards. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Straight up.
Josh, what you talking about?
That almost got awkward, like NBA on TNT.
Yeah. It was turned up.
No, but if I don't know if you guys saw this interview by now, but if we could cue it up, the interview 2 nights ago, Dwight Howard was a guest on Inside the NBA on TNT, and Charles asked him a question as to why people don't like him.
In my travels, and me and Kenny, people always ask us about players. And we probably only met 5 or 6 times your entire career. And I says,
I remember the first time I met you.
Here. It was here. I said, with your dad when you were in high school. I says, he's a really nice guy. He's a hell of a player. But for some reason, people don't like him.
But you can stop it right there. So the interview goes on and takes kind of an awkward turn because he asks him, why does he think people don't like him? Is he uninterested at times in playing on the floor with James Harden? And I think Dwight Howard handled it well. If you had watched the interview, he did kind of. He didn't get combative with it, but it was just kind of an awkward interview because Kenny and Barkley ended up asking him straight up if he was going to leave Houston, if he was going to stay, but also they talked, like Barkley and Kenny talked to each other at one point in the interview as if Howard wasn't there. And it was some strange interaction where they were talking about him and what he should and shouldn't do. And it was just kind of all around awkward. But if you watch the interview, what was your take on that? Because I think Dwight Howard, in my opinion, he gets an unfair rap. But I want to hear what you guys say. Do people not like Dwight Howard? And if yes, is it justified? Is he deserving of that, unlikable player?
I think
role?
people don't like him because, like we talked about earlier, there's not a lot of centers left in the game. And with his frame, with his size, with his ability, he's expected to be a dominant center. Regardless to what you say, when you signed that big ass contract for playing, you were expected to be a big, and he hasn't played like a big. I'm a Rockets fan. I'm from Houston. He has not been physical. He has not been dominant. Everybody's been talking about him. Shaq's been talking about him. His teammates been saying he needs to be more of a presence on the court.
But 5 minutes ago, you said bigs aren't in the game anymore. There is no more big position.
You have to make yourself visible in the game.
Yeah.
Bogut does it. Look at Bogut for Golden State. How many shooters he's playing around that's getting all the attention? But he's giving assists. He's doing stuff where you like, dang, okay.
Players. But to your point,
why are they two different players? Why should they be two? Dwight Howard is more athletic than Bogut. Barkley did say that he seems uninterested at times because you have a guy on the floor, James Harden, who dribbles,
He's a ball hog.
and then takes it to the hoop or steps back and shoots a three.
But so that shouldn't have anything to do. That shouldn't have anything.
It has everything to do. If you don't have the ball in your hand, what can you do? Go around and set picks?
Do something, but what do you do when you do have the ball in your hands? That's the thing. When he does have it, he hasn't been dominant enough to say, "Give me the ball." When he doesn't,
let's not discredit his years in Orlando, though. Okay, so his years in Orlando, we forget about that. We forgot about Orlando and how dominant he was in Orlando and how effective he was for the Magic. And then I think his bad reputation
started with the Lakers.
For sure.
And the Lakers fans are so delusional, and they like.
We enjoy good basketball. We enjoy winning championships, of which the Clippers have none. By the way. But we enjoy winning good championships.
But what you guys don't do, you don't remember that your organization from the top to the bottom, and when I say bottom, Kobe, and nothing against Kobe, but Kobe made it hard for Dwight to be successful.
Oh, he absolutely did.
And the organization made it hard for them to have a complete team. So I think that Dwight is just human, and he folded under the pressure and has not been himself since Orlando, and now he's playing for the Rockets, a subpar team and a stacked West with no coach.
So you agree with me? I mean, he started off good because he was the cornerstone of Orlando. He was the focal point of the offense. When he went to the LA, he wasn't that anymore. And then now in Houston, he's absolutely not that.
Yeah.
So if you put him on a team where he can be the focal point again, I think his numbers will go up and he'll be that big you want him to be, Andre, if they make that a part of their offense. But he gets an unfair rap because just the fact that he's been playing with teammates who have been taking the ball away from him.
I think that he has an unfair rap because he's labeled as being soft. You are a big ass man.
He's big.
You should be so aggressive. You should post up anytime you have a chance. You should get to the basket instead of doing little fadeaway jumpers. I do believe, I don't think any player should get this much criticism as he does. I think that he has been through a lot, and I think with that interview, they were really attacking him. He was there to give his opinion, and then it's just it's all of a sudden it's all on him. But I think that he is a soft, big player. I mean, that's how he plays. And I'm sorry, he can't make his free throws. Neither can DeAndre Jordan. But DeAndre Jordan boards. He posts up. He plays so hard. I think that softness as a big man, that shouldn't be an issue. You should automatically have that drive and that physical ability every single time you play.
What about another famous Houston Rockets center?
Okay.
Who had the finesse?
Who?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, Hakeem Olajuwon.
What about him?
Okay, but Hakeem and Dwight are two totally different players.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dwight can't move
Didn't Hakeem have that finesse?
I'm sorry?
But what does that have to do with it?
And what I'm saying is, if he's not posting up like you're saying, Dwight Howard is not posting up. He's taking the more finesse role. I mean, what's wrong with that?
It's not taking the more finesse role.
Is Dwight taking a finesse role?
He's not.
He's
just
taking
soft.
no finesse
No.
role.
I'm saying he's soft.
If he's
Hakeem and Dwight are two totally. Hakeem is finesse in general. That's how he hoops. Dwight is just soft.
Hakeem was
he's just not tough, is what you're saying when you say soft. He's not.
Not just tough. He's not tough. He's just not as. Thank you. He could play tougher. You are that big. You need to body down these players as big as you are. You see his shoulders, how big. You should have people hanging on your shoulders and getting to the basket, dunking on people. You don't see that from him.
And if you're not scoring points, then you have to find other ways to make yourself relevant to get involved, and he hasn't even done that. He hasn't even been dominant on defense. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you want? You want people to give you the ball more, but you're not producing on offense and you're not producing on defense, and you're folding under pressure, and you're supposed to be a multi-million-dollar paid athlete to do the game. Yes, he's human. Yes, I get it. He's human, but when you sign your name on that contract, they expect it. Right? You're almost not human. You're expected to perform a certain way, and when you don't, it's unfortunate. But you do get criticized. And if he was playing better, then he wouldn't be getting criticized. Period.
Go ahead.
I'll say I'm not mad at the interview. I know you guys were saying that he got attacked.
I'm not mad either.
You know, I thought it was really fantastic, fascinating television. Like, you know, because that Inside, whatever Inside NBA on TT, they always have such great banter, and even if they don't talk about the game, you always are tuned in and engaged.
Where was Shaq? I mean, I missed that, but like, where did he? Imagine if Shaq was there. Shaq would have went in on it.
That wouldn't work. They
knew Shaq couldn't be there.
You know, honestly, I think that Charles would have been, as he was, like the most critical, and I enjoyed it. And I don't think it was like he was getting hazed. You know how he was
like a freshman coming in.
I don't know nothing about that.
You know that. Me either. And I thought he asked the questions that everyone wants to know. What are you going to do about free agency? Where do you see yourself, next year? Are you working on your game? I don't really think that Charles and Kenny came at him sideways. They just asked very relevant questions that everyone wants to know. And I commend Dwight Howard for handling himself as well as he did, because he answered the questions. He definitely stepped and danced around some of the answers, but he held himself.
He's not going to answer straight up where am I going next year? But where do you think he is going next year? Is he going to stay in Houston? I mean, because Barkley was right. I mean, he doesn't get the ball as much as he would if he was the main point of the offense. He's not the main go-to guy on that team.
Well, he needs to go somewhere that he can be the main.
Well, he admitted that on that interview that he basically said that him and James don't have, like, they need to build that chemistry in order for them to work. So obviously he said, they didn't get along. But
Chicago.
I don't know. I think he might stay just to kind of, because it kind of seems like he's just moving and jumping and trying to jumping from team to team. So I think he's going to stay one more year and kind of prove himself and trying to work on that relationship with James. Because them two, they could potentially have a great season. James just needed to step it down a little bit.
In one summer, they're not gonna get the type of chemistry they need to just automatically be top 3 in the West. That's not gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying.
And physically, he's gone. He's out of there.
Looking at it from the outside in, physically, they could. It looks like they should and could be, right? You know what I mean? You just got this big center, you got this guard who can shoot, but no.
Yeah, and if
it's done, it's run its course.
If I'm any superstar who's entering free agency, I'm trying to get out of the West. I'm not trying to stay. I'm not trying to stay in the West. Like, what would be the point? Like, what would be the point for him staying in Houston for another year for what? So that you can finish 5th or 6th seed and then get bounced first round.
Well, look, Celtics could take a big man. That's the emerging team in the East.
This would be an interesting
Mavs, I think, are interested in him in the West. Suns need a big man. Tyson Chandler's and cutting it, and the Blazers could use a big man.
I do Boston. I would do. Bulls. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with Noah and Gasol, but I would do Boston or the Bulls.
I'd go the East Coast.
So he's out or in?
I'm gonna say he's in though.
I say tight end. Go play tight end.
What? Out or in, Dre?
I think he'll stay in Houston and try to figure it out.
I say out.
Out. Yeah. Peace out, Dwight.
Okay. Right now, there's a game going on. Does anyone have the score? It could be over now.
It probably almost is, actually.
Spurs versus Oklahoma City Thunder series.
99-84, OKC, 4-12 in the fourth.
So
it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. So this series has major implications. We want to know if Pop and Tim Duncan will finally retire. Call it quits. And we want to know, what does this mean for the Western Conference Finals if the Spurs win or if the Thunder win? Those are my first 2 questions. First question, though. First things first. Duncan and Pop, is this it for them? Regardless of what happens, is this their last hurrah together? Rheina?
I think Pop, no. I don't think he is. I think he's just going to coach. I think he's coaching. He's going to keep going.
Forever?
He's forever. Pop, I don't know. I think he's staying. Duncan, yes. I don't think, he's going to make a statement like Kobe did. You know how Kobe had to have a dramatic exit? I think Tim Duncan, if he doesn't make it to the championship, there's not much left in the tank for Tim.
Yeah.
So I think this might be his last season if he makes it to the
So tonight's going to be his last game.
Potentially.
I mean, he has 1 year left. He has 1 year left on his contract.
True.
He does.
He does?
He does. He has a player option left on his contract, so he could opt out. But I mean, he'll be 40 next season.
He's 40 now, I thought.
No, I think he'll be. Isn't he 39?
I thought he was 40. Somebody needs to fact check.
Yeah, we should, he could be. You could be right, but I think he's got for sure 2016, 17. What are we at right now? 15, 16.
We're 15, 16.
17. He's got 1 more year, which is a player option. So he could absolutely stay if he wanted to, and he's been. I don't see.
He is 40. He just turned 40 in April.
He just turned 40. Okay.
40 years old.
But Tim Duncan's like one of those guys at the party. You look around and it's like, where's Tim? And he doesn't like say goodbye before he leaves. He just kind of makes his way out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're right. He's not going to be like the.
He's not going to be like do basketball.
Farewell tour. Not that Kobe orchestrated that, but that's just the way the situation
That was great.
went. But I think people could. I mean, I could imagine him going. As he's playing though, that final year. People giving him his adoration and praise each stop that he goes to because he's the big fundamental. He's the most consistent. He's been one of the most consistent players in the NBA, and he's probably the best power forward of all time.
Oh, definitely.
So, I mean, if he stays that 1 more year, he could. I mean, people are going to actually acknowledge that every stop he goes to. But Tim, he's not all about the limelight though. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that organization, the Spurs organization in general, they have adopted the attitude of their coach and of their superstar player, which is who Tim Duncan is their superstar player and has been for so many years. So I really agree with you, Rheina. Like tonight could be his last game, and there will not be the farewell tour. It's going to be like, I'm done. I would be very surprised if he came back. Pop. I would be surprised if he came back too. Like,
really?
What else does he have to coach for? I mean, is he chasing the 6th ring or is he chasing Phil Jackson's 11? Like, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have anything else to coach for.
Right. I agree. I think both of them are done. I think Tim Duncan, he couldn't have been in a better position to win it this year. I mean, he had a great team. They have a great team, but. It's just some other teams out there that's a little bit younger and a little bit better, you know what I mean? And they got to figure it out. So I think he's done. Even if he came back another year, back to back, they lost, didn't make it to the championship. His last hurrahs, I think he's done for sure. And I think Pop's done too.
Yeah.
I mean, what more? He can't do anything else. Like I said, he's won. And if he loses Tim Duncan, it's kind of like now you kind of got to restructure a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't have far to go to restructure.
No, they don't. That's why I said a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, so as I said earlier, sometimes Lakers fans can be quite delusional, which, what else is new? And one of their delusions of grandeur have been that Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant are going to make their way to Los Angeles because, they're going to...
Who said that?
Lakers fans think that KD is on the market to come to LA, to the Lakers.
It is
I think
possible.
so.
And people have been like, Westbrook played at UCLA and he's going to come too. So let me get to my point, Josh, while you getting your panties in a bunch. So, as...
talking about? You've never once heard me say KD and Westbrook are coming here.
But Lakers fans like Rheina just
I said KD. I didn't
I'd be
say
surprised if you had panties on.
What's
So.
wrong with you?
I'm just laughing. Yeah.
So I want to know. So maybe these Lakers fans on this panel have not subscribed to that theory, but for those out there who have, how do you think that this series, OKC advancing to the Western Conference Finals and possibly beating Golden State in the Western Conference Finals, how do you think that will affect KD's and Westbrook's decisions to stay in OKC or leave?
I don't really think that they really have a reason to leave. I think especially if they win, I mean, it's like one of those things where they're both young. Let's see how far we can take this. Let's see how many we can win. I mean, because that's what the competition begins to. Once you win one, it's like, man, that's amazing. That's a great feeling. Let's see if we can win another one. You win another one, it's like, dang, wow. Let's see how far we can keep this thing going. And I think that's what it is. I don't see them leaving. They're going to pay them as much as they want. They're happy. They're winning. They have a great team. It's really no need for them to break up, unless LA just offers them just a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of money. And I think if one comes, they absolutely both will come. At some point, if it's not like, obviously it may not be able to be in the same year, but I think if one comes, they will have sat down and had that talk like, look, are you coming? I think that's how it'll be.
I think if they if they win, they're staying for sure. I agree with Dre.
Win the championship or
the
win?
championship.
Okay.
Or, yes, I do think. If they win the championship, they're going to stay together and see how many rings they can win together. They won't break that up. However, but I think they lose. I think KD is going to come to the Lakers and start brand new, start on his own. Being without Russell Westbrook, I think Russ is going to stay. And I think KD is coming to the Lakers and to build with the younger guards that they have, like D'Angelo and Jordan Clarkson if he comes back. Just because with Kobe leaving, that frees up a lot of money. So that money is going to might attract KD KD to come to the Lakers. That's my theory. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't see KD coming to the Lakers, to be honest with you. I mean, he's from the DMV, right? And there's been rumors that he's had interest in New York. But him coming to the Lakers, I don't think it serves a purpose for him. I mean, and of course, back to Erica's question, if they win, there are implications. They're going to do it again, like we've all agreed. Losing, I would see them split up. I don't see them playing together anywhere else because they want to get from under each other's shadows. If you looked at the ranking for the MVP this season, Westbrook was higher than Durant.
KD, yeah.
So. And I'm sure Durant does not want to be in that shadow if Westbrook is, known as the leader of that team wherever they go. So KD's not coming to LA. It'd be nice, but I would, if anything, between the two, I would think that Westbrook would come here because he's from here, and that would certainly be a good look to come back home. But I'm not holding my breath for any of that, to be honest with you.
I really think that at one point it was a real possibility because I don't think that we really thought that Oklahoma would do this well. I mean, I didn't think they would do this well in the playoffs. Right. I think after playoffs started, it was slightly a surprise game by game. But now that they're doing this well, I definitely don't see either of them coming to the West. Again, my whole motto is if you are on a good team in the West right now, there's no reason to leave and go to a lesser team in the West. I don't care if it is the Lakers. It doesn't make any sense, especially when these guys are 27, 28 years old. What are you going to do, spend 3 to 5 years, the beginning, the middle of your prime?
There's nothing there to entice.
Yeah, there's nothing
here
there.
To entice them.
And a lot of, I know Josh, you said this wasn't you, but I've heard a lot of Lakers fans say, it's LA, we have the championships, it's women, it's the sun, it's the beach, it's the brand.
I mean, that's some things that
and that's all enticing to a young player, and that's why I think it makes sense in LA because he's a young player.
Which one, Durant or
Durant? Okay. I mean, he's a young player. He's great. We know he can play great. We know he can be great. We know he can play with a team. He knows how to play. He's been playing with Russell Westbrook. He's been playing with what's the center's name? Ibaka. He knows how to play and utilize those pieces, and that's the type of guy that you have to build around. Somebody who knows how to play with a center. Somebody who knows how to step down when he has to step down, and knows how to turn up when he has to turn up. So I think LA is very, very realistic. And I think I'm telling you, if Durant goes, it makes sense for Russell Westbrook to come.
Eventually.
It makes sense.
LA doesn't have any of those pieces right now, so it would take.
They could take one or the
Durant's
other,
input, if anything.
And also, I think that just James with him leaving OKC and to see how Houston became his team, I think that is kind of attractive to KD and Russ. I think they want to have their own team as well.
Especially Westbrook.
I could see, I don't know, but for some reason I think KD's coming to the Lakers. I think Russ established himself in OKC and he's just going to be like there.
Okay.
I don't know.
That would make sense for him to leave, and then he stay, and they offer him a lot of money to stay, and then they start trying to build another piece around him to kind of get over that hump.
I think
that could happen.
Yeah. But I honestly think even if they lose to Golden State, if it's a good series, I think they'll stay together.
I think if they win, I think then we all agree that we thought if they won,
stay together.
But regardless, they're staying.
Yeah, I think if OKC plays Golden State, which I think they're going to play Golden State, check the score. I think if that series goes 6 and they both have good series, I think they stay. I don't think they're going to leave.
Just if it goes 6, so they don't necessarily have to win.
They don't have to win. They don't have to win.
Yeah,
as long as they don't get swept, I think they're going to stay. Okay, one more question, guys. So since OKC looks like they're advancing to the Western Conference Finals to face the Almighty Warriors, well, the question was, who do you think will give them a better, with the Spurs or the Thunder? So I guess that question is irrelevant now. Will this be the most exciting series of the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference? Is this going to be better than Cavs versus Heat, or will this will be better than Cavs versus Heat?
Oh, absolutely.
Or Cavs versus Raptors?
Yes, this is going to be
This is
exciting for sure.
I think this is going to be better than the NBA Finals. To be honest, this is a hell of a game, man, because there's so much on the line. I mean, you hear what we're talking. I think these are decision-making games, like career-changing. Like these guys are going to stay or go, and we're going to see Durant in another uniform next year, if not. So these are big games,
right.
man. This is a big thing to see where a lot of people could possibly go. So I think it is the biggest game left. I don't even think the finals. I mean, it's going to be a good game regardless, but I think it's just so much more riding on this game.
Okay.
It's
I agree with you. I agree with you, Dre, because I'm not checking for any of the Eastern Conference series, to be honest.
You haven't
we're
been
not
enjoying
excited.
it. I have been loving the Heat Raptor series.
Hey, I'll wait till whoever wins in the East plays the West, because like you said, Dre, this is the series right here. If OKC goes on to play the Warriors, that will be the most exciting series of the whole NBA season for me, of the playoffs, the postseason.
Wow.
Right.
Because we have two Westbrook and Durant, two great young players going against a great Warrior squad. I mean,
It's gonna be
that's
loud.
going to be a lot better than Cavs and Warriors, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Oh, let me just take one step back. Y'all are sleeping on the Eastern Conference playoffs. Like the Raptors Heat series has been off
I mean,
the
you
chain.
said it yourself. The Eastern Conference isn't as
But those aren't the best
not the
teams.
best.
They're not the
No,
best
they're
team.
definitely not the best. But y'all, like those 3 of those games, the Raptors Heat games have gone into overtime.
Yes.
So exciting games, but
They're
not the best
exciting.
teams.
But even
Yeah, they're not
those
the
two
best.
teams, I don't think that they could even compare with OKC and the
I
Warriors.
mean, no, they can't. They
So
can't.
it's like it's hard for us to be excited when you got this other big like look, we're sitting here watching right now trying to see who's gonna win between the Spurs and OKC.
And also, like,
You know?
think about it, Portland and Golden State, they had a pretty exciting
That
series
was a good-
too.
yeah, it was a good
So
series.
like
Last night's
West
game was off the
Coast
chain.
and that series, OKC and the Spurs, that's been exciting too. So it's
Okay.
like, I don't know. I think there's just better. Obviously, there's better teams on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, for sure.
Well, next week we'll do our predictions for Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals.
Yes.
And we might even have to put the predictions in before next Thursday because they might start playing before we shoot, actually.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will.
So
They
we'll
will.
have to make sure we put our predictions up on Twitter so that everyone can see that.
Or should we do it now? On the spot?
Okay, we can do it now. Okay. So, but we don't know who's coming out of the East yet.
True.
Does it
That's
matter
true.
to you?
Cavs are gonna.
Cavs win the East.
Yes.
See, we gotta do the win.
Yeah,
we gotta do the
Yeah,
win.
let's hold off.
Yeah.
We got some
Okay.
stuff to do.
Okay. Yeah.
To
All
think
right.
about.
We do. Gotta think really hard. All right. Any last thoughts, guys, before we tell lovely people good night?
Correct.
Dame Lillard is the truth.
Dame, he played
So
an
underrated.
amazing.
You got to respect that man.
You do.
Respect.
Like,
Boy, solid,
respect.
man.
Some respect on
respect
his
on his
name.
Respect on Dame Lillard's name.
What a K, EK.
Because that was a great series. 4-1, right? 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
But the stat was that Portland led for more minutes in that whole series. So 4-1, and it could have been a lot closer than it was. Of course, Warriors came through in the final minutes of those games, but Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum,
did his thing,
that
too.
squad,
Yes.
that squad, those guys
you
were
know
not.
what?
They did not back down. They
Portland,
were
you
not
gotta make your
afraid.
free
They
throws.
play
You gotta
hard.
make your free throws down the
not
stretch,
afraid.
Portland.
I always like that mid-major school or teams. Like Dame went to Weber State, CJ went to Lehigh,
Okay.
and those teams are like they're Division I, but they're not as like UCLA.
Right,
They're
not the
Pac-12.
big- yeah, for sure,
But
yeah.
you see that these guys made it out, and I think that's their story, and it's just amazing to see them. You don't have to go to a top school to make it to the league, and I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like the mentality of these young players. Like I gotta go to the bigger school, but just seeing Dame and CJ work so hard and get to how they get to this, and they played amazing this
Unafraid, they didn't back down at all, and they hit these
Relentless.
shots that were just like when they took some of those shots, I was like, why are you taking that? Whoa, you made it!
All right.
Like it was just.
It was a
That was
shootout.
about that life.
It was a shootout,
They can
man.
risk it all.
Well, congrats, Portland, to your fishing trip that you started today. But it's fun. It's fun while it lasted. Okay, well, that's all for this episode of Sports Weekly every Thursday night at 7 o'clock on BHL, Black Hollywood Live, your weekly source for news and events and sports. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, and on Instagram at Erica Renee D.
Andre Dean, Instagram and Twitter. I am Andre, and on that Snapchat at RBDean30.
Rheina Ale, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter and Periscope at Rheina_LA.
And I'm Joshua Johnson. Hit me up on social media at JJ the Talented and talk about any of the topics that we talked about tonight.
And we're going to try to get our predictions out there before next week so that they count, because everyone knows they don't count if the series has started. Follow all things Black Hollywood Live on BlackHollywoodLive.com. Follow Black Hollywood Live on Twitter at BHL Online, and follow us on Instagram at The Sports Weekly. Until next Thursday night at 7, guys. See ya.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.